your knees hurt? Do they ache? You having pain there? Well, let's talk about how to improve the health of your knees. It's a new year, and this is still a problem for a lot of people. I can't tell you how many people I've come across, whether that was in personal training or in a physical therapy clinic, that come in with knee issues, or just honestly in general. I hear it. Well, knee pain is very common, and a lot of times, or I should say majority of the time, it's actually not because your knees. Huh? Yeah, I did just say that. So the knee joint is stuck in between two other major joints, the ankle and the hip. They do a lot more movement due to the fact that the hip is a ball and socket, and the ankle, of course, the ability to move just very similar to your wrist. Well, your knee only can extend and only can flex, or should I say your knee can only bend and straighten. All right. The knee joint, like when you're having ankle issues or hip issues, a lot of times the knee just winds up just eating the pain, eating the issue, becoming the issue. Yes, there are things that could be going on with your knee that are caused for other things, i.e. a car accident, or someone slide tackles you in soccer, or some other thing that could happen directly to the knee. But a lot of the things that happen to your knee joint is because of the ankle and the hip, or the hip. So what do I do to just better your knee? Well, I'm going to make it a nice quick video. So hopefully you've been seeing my shorts that are coming out with specific exercises for specific needs or different functions. So we're going to talk about how to really improve your knee just by doing different basic exercises. So each of these things I'm about to mention can be progressed to something else, or to just a progression of that specific thing or item. Let's create a better toolbox for you than just having a hammer. So here we go. Let's deal with your strengthening of the ankle joint and the muscles around the ankle joint or below the knee. Strengthening and mobilizing the ankle joint. So you can do ankle mobility exercises. I know I've posted a banded ankle mobility exercise. At some point I'm posting, or have posted by this point, another type of ankle exercise you don't even need any equipment for other than just a wall and your own self. Or again, one of my other ankle mobility exercises that you can do to really improve its mobility. The better the ankle mobility is, the less knee pain. Being able to have that range of motion allows you to be able to do movement without having to compensate in another way. Another thing to do is, like I said, is strengthening. So if you do some toe raises and heel raises, they can really help. I know I've posted about toe raises, heel raises or calf raises is very important, especially if you can do them with getting a deep stretch or standing on something elevated so you can allow the heel to go lower. This allows you to get, again, more range of motion. So now I'm technically doing both things in one by doing a mobility exercise and a strength exercise all in one, so that you can improve the strength of both sides of the lower extremity of your leg by doing, again, working the anterior tibialis, working the calf muscles, the gastrocs and the soleus muscles. That would definitely improve your knee. But we can't stop there, because the knee, again, it connects from the bottom half of your leg, or the distal end of your leg, to, again, the distal end of your femur, or just the top bones, the top leg or the upper leg. With this connection point, there's a lot of different ligaments, tendons, and muscles coming together. So we do need to also think about and consider strengthening the quads, the top of your thighs, and the hamstrings. I know I have made videos about various different leg exercises, but something you want to consider is strengthening that from very minimal type movement exercises, like say just getting your knee to completely lock out and totally straighten. You can do that by doing what a lot of therapists would call a TKE. This specific exercise you can do without resistance or add resistance in various different ways, to eventually doing step-ups. You can use your stairs for that sake. You can do step downs would be great. That is a benefit as well. To lateral step-ups, which can also be helpful, a little bit of a different impact to your hip and your ankle joint. But if we're trying to really strengthen the quadriceps and the hamstrings, we want to consider something that's going to get them eventually into more range of motion, so we can really strengthen them. So squats, or an iteration of a squat, is going to be very, very beneficial to strengthening your quads, as well, of course, as the hip, as the glutes. So we're kind of hitting two things with one exercise, or one type of exercise. You also want to do some form of hip hinging exercise. So again, strengthen the hips, but also strengthen the hamstrings by doing some form of, a lot of people just can use, like I've talked about, deadlifts, or a variation of a deadlift. You can also consider doing knee bending exercises or flexion exercises. You can throw in a good exercise to throw in there is going to be a version of a leg curl, due to the fact that there is parts of your hamstrings that don't cross the hip, so you need that curling movement, plus it's useful for your knee, as well as knee extension exercises, like doing some variation of a leg extension. Outside of those, we also need to consider strengthening the hip within the various different movements. As we've already talked about, having a squat and a hinging movement, that is going to cover some exercises. You can do lateral step-ups to cover doing lateral movement, but you also could consider some basic movements of doing some hip three-way. You can do that in a standing position, or a lying down position, whether that's on your back, your stomach, or on your side. You can also consider going and using hip adduction and abduction machines at the gym to really strengthen those movements as well. There's one thing I didn't mention that is going to be good to note, is you don't just want to strengthen it, but you do want to also get some stretching. Hence why I say a lot of bang for your buck is going to be doing mobility exercises, and potentially just doing strength training exercises to the full range of motion. But of course, you can throw in some basic stretching, like a hamstring, any version of a hamstring stretch that you can do, a quad stretch that you can do, a hip flexor stretch that you can do, to just name a few. Till next time, let's improve those knees.